What's up, New England and beyond? The Room Podcast, Wednesday night. Steve Domenico.
Tommy Shayhood.
Nice, Tommy.
What's up?
Nice.
You were pretty good, huh?
Said that in nice unison right there.
Right.
Hey, we got a few people watching.
Hell yeah. What's up,
right
peoples?
off the bat. What's up, Rod Pico, my opponent in July.
Sheesh.
That's for next week's show. When next week we will be having Richie Santiago down here, and a couple of other guests that were interested in coming down and talking about the show over the weekend. So we'll be covering that next week on next Wednesday. But tonight is all about Comba FC 6 on February 9th, Friday night.
Hell yeah. It's going to be a good one.
Are we live?
Yeah, I was just distracted, so I'm sorry. I was looking away, but we are.
How we sounding? All right,
You sound awesome. Yep, putting it down. Here we
All
go.
right. Well, I
The
thought
QC
we were
check.
going live on Instagram also. I tried to hook that up, but I don't
Maybe
think
we
it
are.
happened. It did say we are live there, but
Who knows?
I don't think so.
All right, we're good. I'm ready.
We will see what's happening.
We are looking good, too, by the way.
Excellent.
Cheers to that.
We do have a couple of guests on tonight, last-minute guest in Dan Cormier. He will be fighting at Combat FC 6. And we have Matchmaker Rick Caldwell, who will be calling in at in about 7 minutes to talk about the card coming up in less than 2 weeks, Tommy. A couple of Friday nights. So, Tommy, before we get to all that in 7 minutes, how was your football Sunday?
Very good. Watched the KC game. That was the game of the weekend, I think. I don't think Patrick Mahomes is going to be stoppable this season. He's probably going to win the Super Bowl. That's my prediction right now. Don't bet on it, or do, and give me your winnings.
On that Super Bowl, who's the favorite and who's the fan favorite?
I would say KC is the favorite. They're playing 49ers, right? That's a fan favorite. A lot of people like the 49ers. They're an old team. Old Joe Montana, right?
Yeah, I know a lot of 49er fans.
Yep. Not me. I am not that.
The only reason why I am going to watch it is because I am in a $200 pool, $200 box pool, which you could win 10 grand
Whoa.
for having the final score.
We'll have some good beers that night.
Yeah, we bet. And I'm on a couple of them at work, and that's the only that's really the only reason why I watch football nowadays.
To bet.
For the pools and
Sure. That definitely adds a good aspect to it. The legalized gambling in Massachusetts is definitely boosts that. The online gambling, you just do it at your house.
Yeah, so I do have some money left over from Saturday night in there. Maybe I'll bet on the Super Bowl.
Like from the other thing, right? I was thinking like FanDuel or something.
MGM Grand, you can bet on the Super Bowl on that, right?
I would think so.
I think.
Unless it, I don't know. To tell you the truth, you probably can, but I don't know if it has to be an event that they're doing right there, because that was like what Saturday was. And, usually if you're at an event, you bet on the MGM. I would go FanDuel because I just have an account for that one. No plug. I wish they were sponsoring me, giving me money for the show because they have a ton of fucking money.
So I've never bet through MGM Grand up until Saturday, and I did.
Yep.
And I won a little cash.
Nice.
So what's this right here?
House money, right?
Yes, training money. Yeah. Yes, you can bet on Chinese basketball.
Oh, geez.
That's what Mr. Pico just said.
I when I do not so stable streams, we'll say, that's putting it nice, when I want to watch something that's kind of like sketchy. There's all sorts of weird other sports that they play from other countries. A lot of cricket, a lot of international tennis, and then you can bet on all these weird ones too. So
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of craziness
and
going on.
and I like to watch like other games that we won't get, that are on different times, like, NFL games or MLB games. So you can just watch pretty much any game on those.
Yeah, so I think, I might be betting a little more. I won $370 on Keno
Yeah. Oh, nice.
on Monday.
Nice.
I won $100, threw another $20 down after I won the 100, and hit a 5-timer for $270.
Wowzers.
It was like my lucky night. It's usually my card night. I stayed away from my local bar. I didn't want to hang out with the
Degenerates.
crazy freaking card people are arguing. That's why I don't play.
Yeah,
this
because they go
season.
nuts.
Oh, it's just terrible. It's terrible.
It's just terrible.
So anyway, I didn't want to go there, and I went to another place, a little upper class, and I won $370.
Nice,
there.
nice.
So I'm pretty happy about that. Last thing, Tommy, before we get to thanks, Rob. Mr. Caldwell is Triforce.
Yes.
Today was the last day of not the original. Well, yes, the original Triforce.
Yeah,
because
it's been there for like 15 years.
Pete and his brother took that over
Yep.
from, I think it was called another gym before that,
Yeah.
and they took it over.
Made it theirs.
Called it Triforce. And talk a little about that.
Well-
What happened and what's going on with them?
We are moving to a different location. It's basically in the same building. It's a big, huge mill building on Canaan Street. I think I'm saying that right or wrong, whatever. There's like miles and miles of square footage in that building. So to say we're moving locations, it's literally like a different room in the building, but very much 5 times the space. Nicer, bigger. It's going to be a lot of people in there. A little sad leaving that location today because that's where I started my jiu-jitsu journey and learned to love it there, and I really do love it. So that room will be special. I spent a lot of time on my back staring up at the fucking ceiling, so I know every slat on that roof, every knot that's in the wood.
So the new place is what? Is it one big floor? Is it?
I think
couple
it's
of floors?
multiple areas. So there's a lot of mat space. There's a lot of other gym space.
And today was the last day, or
Yeah. Yep.
until and now it opens tomorrow. When's
On
it
Monday.
open? It opens on
Yeah,
Monday.
we'll be back there on Monday. We're giving them a couple days, and hopefully I get in there, help them out a little bit. I'm crazy busy, but we're going to be training in there on Monday.
Excellent,
Yep.
excellent. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations
Thank
on
you. I'm,
the change.
I'm
I know
super
there's
happy
a lot
to be
of
involved.
a lot of big changes. Positive, not only on the square footage, but there's so much being added in there.
Yep.
We talked about that. About a caterer food.
It's going to be
available.
a mecca. It's going to be a jiu-jitsu martial arts fucking Disneyland. Yeah, we're going to make it happen. It's going to make us all get so much better. I've been using the term a lot lately that when you give a snake a bigger cage, it just gets bigger and stronger.
Here you go, Triforce against versus everyone.
Damn right.
Speaking of Triforce, Dan Cormier will be calling in at 8:45 for a few minutes to end the show with us.
Yep, I was just with him.
Dan is back in the cage. He's had a couple of boxing events. I think Dan's last MMA fight was at Combat FC 3 about 11 months ago.
Sheesh.
So it's been 11 months, and he's jumping back into Rick Caldwell and Joe Cav's Combat FC cage, this time on Fight Pass.
Dan's the man, and
Dan
we're
is
all
the
rooting
man.
for him like usual.
Let me see. What time is it? All right, it's 8:15. Let me see if the boss is ready.
Dan's funny too, because whatever kind of fight he's doing, he says he's that. He says, "I'm not an MMA fighter. I'm a boxer. I'm not a boxer. I'm an MMA fighter. I'm not a wrestler. I'm not a boxer. I'm an MMA wrestler." So we'll see.
Well, here he is. All right, let's hope this works. There it is. Looks like it's going to work.
Sweet. And you can see us right there. It's a good look. It's a good view.
Yes, it's got a little of the drum set in there.
Yeah.
Let me shut the phone down a little bit while we wait for Mr. Caldwell. What's up, my man?
What's up, dudes?
Nothing
What's
much.
up?
I just got to fit you in my template here, and I think we're good to go, my friend.
Yeah, sorry for the shitty background.
No, that's all right, man. I'm gonna blow you up right now, and all we're gonna see is your head. So
It's not shitty.
No, it's awesome.
It's so my wife is a sign language interpreter.
Okay.
So she uses the same office, so she has to have a clear background, like a solid color. So yeah, anytime I do something from the office, I have to use a virtual background. Or
Yep.
I've had people tell me I look like I'm like filming an Al Qaeda video.
Well,
I'm in like a cave with the fucking backdrop.
well, it's working for us right now, my man. It looks great right now. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man.
It's been a while since I've had you on the show, man. I think maybe Combat FC 1 or 2.
Something like that, yeah.
Had you on.
It was like a year ago.
Yeah, and we were talking. We talked a little bit about Joe Cav and how the history there between you two. But now we are in the 6th installment of Combat FC, my friend. Congratulations! It's growing and growing every event. Rick, let's talk about it. How happy are you? And talk about from that first card and where we are now. You're feeling about the whole journey so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you mind if I drink while I'm on here? I haven't had a beer in a minute.
I'm fucking
We're
drinking.
drinking.
You can drink.
Cheers. Cheers.
Second beer of 2024, and the last one was on a podcast I did. So I'm gonna go ahead and drink this IPA while we talk.
Hell yeah.
So as far as the journey, it's been fun, man. It's been fun, but it's been hectic. You know, it's we're doing a lot of things that complicate stuff. You know, like anytime we're doing the level of production that we're doing, there's a lot of moving parts. And, Fight Pass, it's not, I don't want to say that they're hard to deal with, but they're also not the easiest guys, so we're trying, when we were trying to figure out, our contract status last year, we were just, we were trying to get something negotiated mid-year, and it's, again, to be clear, I don't think they did anything that was, they didn't like screw us or anything. Like they've been good to deal with, but they have so many moving parts on their side that when we're trying to get something set up, whether it's a particular date or, when we try to do something out of the norm, like we've got something that we're trying to do right now with a preview show. It's going to be like a countdown, like similar to what they do for like big boxing matches on HBO, right? It's going to be like a 30-minute show with interviews, previous fight footage, and kind of like, hey, come check that, tune in next week on Fight Pass, and there's a local network that, it's not official yet, so I don't want to say it, but it's happening rapidly, and it's likely to air sometime next week before the show, right? It's like, so there's something that we're working on there with a local network, and then we're going to do something ongoing with them in the future. So, there's a lot of moving parts there because we have to talk to Fight Pass because they own the footage. So not only do we have to go out and actually make the show, we have to confirm that they're going to be okay with it, and they're going to be okay with how we plan to use it. And, and they, we're not TV guys, right? So we'll ask them questions, or, we'll ask them to do a particular thing, and they'll come back with a question about, like in terms of like when they intend to air it, and because we're not giving up the rights to this in perpetuity. It would just be for this time window, and like so it's stuff like that like it complicates some of the stuff that we're doing because we're new to all of that side of it. So yeah, it's been interesting. It's been interesting to say the least. But as far as the fights themselves, since probably Combat FC 2, it's been super easy to match the fights. I could match, I could have put together 35 fights that I wanted to see on this one. And there's so many guys that I wanted to get that we weren't able to book, but we still have, I think we've got 17, I think we've got 18 fights actually, but we got to get to 17 because, the commission will only allow 17. So like we have a lot of fights, and a lot of really good ones, a lot of fights. I mean, this is this is definitely the best card that we've had, and I realize we're still 9 days out and crazy things will happen in the last 9 days. But, I actually said in a different interview, like we could lose any two fights on the card and it's still our, even if we lost two title fights, we could headline with one title fight in the rest of the card that we have, and it would still be our best Fight Pass card. It would still be our best main card. So it's good.
It's good.
Yeah, we're really excited about where we are on this one, and we're excited about the prospects that we've got on there. I'm sure we'll get into some of the fights later, but I'm just really pumped about. I think it's a good blend. The title fights, obviously, they have their own appeal. Then we've got a bunch of prospects that I think are really high end prospects taking fights that are going to be tough for them, and then. We also have some other good veterans that are in between, like that Muse and Nelson fight's going to be great. Lazoya and Dissanel's another one. Like, so we've got some of those bigger fights that are, not quite title fights, but not guys that are, 1-0, 2-0. And then we got some other stuff that's just fun.
Well, my man, you have a lot of returning fighters coming back to your cage who are enjoying the spotlight that you're putting out there for them. You're not only with the Fight Pass, but Joe Cavs history in the game, and just the production and the way you're putting things together. Something I've seen growing and still growing since your first show is the media attention and all. You guys are growing and getting your faces out there and getting the fighters more out there with interviews and podcasts and stuff like that. That's something I don't think you've been used to in your past, as far as being like, all over the airways and pumping the card up. But how's that been for you? Kind of on the media, the road there, the journey, promoting this card on the 9th.
It's been cool. It's been. We've tried to focus on different types of media, right? And we've tried to focus on, because really what we're trying to look at is like, what a lot of the other promotions are doing. A lot of the fight fans tune into that, which you definitely need that audience, right? Like you need to be able to get one of those people and to pump up the card with those people. But we were looking at it like we have to also get other stuff. Right? Because if we're doing the same thing as everybody else, then, we're going to be promoting our events to the audience that is already attending local MMA shows, which that's a very important audience, but we also need to grow the size of the audience, so we've tried to really focus on both. And it's, this one's been, we've had a lot more attention this time from the traditional MMA media. That's something that we haven't had in the past. And part of it was, we always tried to get in front of some of those guys, but a lot of the other promotions, they've been in the area for so long that they already have those established relationships, and they've hung out with these guys after fights, and they've kind of done the shaking hands and kissing babies for years, right? So they know they know what, they like to go to those events. It feels like they're kind of part of the family, right? So we haven't had the chance to do that because we're new still. This is fight number 6. So this was probably the first fight where we've had a lot more attention from the MMA media. And we've got a guy working for us named Kyle. He actually was an intern, and fuck you, Kyle. And he's doing a good job this time, though.
That's what interns are for.
Yeah, well, he was an intern. He's actually, he's a paid employee now.
I believe he actually reached out to me yesterday, and we'll talk about what he reached out for me, because we'll go on to that before we get to a couple of fights. But you do have a press conference coming up as far as for media members, and we can talk about that. But that gentleman, I do believe it was Kyle. Fuck you, Kyle. I do believe it was Kyle that hit me up yesterday. So he's actually doing his job. He's on the phone or on the. So.
Yeah, he's done some stuff in the past too. Like he's reached out to, hundreds of people on TikTok that do MMA TikTok videos and tried to get them to cover some things, and we've had some success with it, but again, that's the big thing. We're trying to get people who haven't covered us before to come out and talk about us. And that's, and we don't want to neglect the guys that have been working hard in this scene for a while too. So it's not like we can say, all right, we don't want to talk to Domenico, right?
Mm-hmm. Like everyone else.
yeah. There's a couple out there that I think there's a black email that goes out and goes, if you talk to this guy, you might not get another fight.
Yeah, there's a hit list.
There's a hit list on Domenico.
Yeah, so again, it kind of, we want to make sure to, the guys that have been in the region a long time and that are kind of established people that help promote fights in the region. We want to make sure to keep talking to those guys, keep inviting them to the events, keep getting them set up, and doing podcasts if they have them, or just staying in touch in general. But again, we want to grow the amount of people that are coming to check it out, and that's one thing. I did a podcast last night with 3 guys who 2 of them have never been to one of our events before, have never covered us at all. So
that's good.
They're and they're coming up to the event. So yeah, we definitely broke through on that one, and I think Kyle being all over people has helped, but just also us putting on good fights, consistent fights, and just giving people something that's kind of worth watching. That's what we really focused on, and I think we kind of did the opposite of what a lot of shows do. A lot of other shows kind of start with the social media piece, and they really they try to go out and kind of build up that side of the business first, and they focus on some of the media members and kind of getting in with all the MMA journalists, and and then as the show starts to grow, then they start adding the production. We kind of did it backwards. We just we were on Fight Pass with ridiculous production, and nobody knew who the hell we were. So it's we're kind of meeting in the middle now, right? So it's we're still gonna have great fights. The production's gonna be awesome. The Fight Pass show is gonna be awesome. The actual broadcast. We've got some other interesting things going on with, again, other networks that we're trying to have shows on, and yeah, we're finally getting the other parts of the coverage too, and yeah, it's gonna be a big year for us.
Excellent. Well, before we get to a couple of big fights here, mainly the title fights, I know you were on the podcast yesterday with one of my guys, a good friend of mine, Dylan Napoleon.
Yep.
Good friend of mine. He will be at the show, and Chris from Caged In podcast. Good show last night with them. They broke down the whole card with you, I do believe, or a number of the fights.
7 or 8 fights. Yeah, they had like 7 or 8 fights they wanted to talk through. And
well, Rick, there's one other man that is jumping aboard here, and he's getting a virtual press conference going. I do believe it's this Monday coming up, and talk about this, Mr. Quinn. How you got associated with him, because he's a big deal on Twitter and Instagram and in the MMA community. Like you have all the major organizations. How'd you get in touch with this guy and get him on board?
Yeah, it's fucking Kyle, man.
Ha!
Kyle was messaging people, he reached out to a bunch of people trying to see if they wanted to get involved. And, I'm sure the virtual press conference idea was Charlie's idea, because, Kyle wouldn't have come up with that. So.
Oh, damn it.
I hope Kyle's listening. That's how you know you're part of the team now, Kyle. Like, he didn't do this shit to you before.
I'm going to clip that out.
I was going to say, make a clip.
Right, exactly. No, so I actually met him for the first time today. We had a Zoom call with Charlie today, and very sharp guy. He had some really good ideas for the press conference, and kind of how we can maximize it. And there's a lot of people. I think there's something like 30 media members attending it. So yeah, it's, again, that's not something we've done in the past. So it was cool to have someone, because for the most part, you guys know, it's just me and Joe, really.
Yeah.
Before, I was worried I was going to lose track of time, because I'm meeting with the commission tomorrow to do all the medicals. So I was sitting around the backside of the desk at the printer, printing out everybody's stuff, and we handle everything. So as we're trying to figure out what to do with, trying to get more media coverage and boost our social media, it's in between booking the fights, doing the fight contracts, getting the medicals in, finding replacements, and Joe with negotiating with Fight Pass, with the production team and the lighting. And so it's good that we finally have someone who can do the shit that we've been saying we need to do but didn't have time for.
Excellent.
So yeah, it's been good to add good to add Kyle.
As far as, you said it was just you and Joe. Is it hard to add team members? You know what I mean? To give that trust to, another person that hasn't been with, you guys as long as you've been friends and colleagues.
Yeah. I mean, the harder thing for us is figuring out what they're going to do, cause if we find someone and we're like, hey, we want you to focus on we can't pay somebody a significant amount of money to go find sponsorships, right? Because the amount of money that they'll bring in sponsorships is going to be it's going to cost us more to pay somebody to do it. So I'd say there's a lot of tasks that we need help with, and it's hard to find someone like, because it seems like we need a little bit of help with a lot of things, and someone who can kind of help with all those things. That was tough, and just, like it's, I mean, we were talking about hiring someone for social media, but again, if we want someone to do like 3 or 4 social media posts a day, like, what do you pay somebody like that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you work it out? I mean, if we tell someone, hey, we'll give you $100 a week, like, that doesn't sound like a lot of money. Like, who the hell wants to work for $100 a week?
Yeah.
But then if you think about it, if they're making 4 posts a day times 7 days, all right, so you're making less than 30 posts a week, so we're paying you like $350 a post. Like, it takes, once you get it kind of figured out, you're like,
I'd be a millionaire.
like, yeah, we can't pay people like, like we can't, like, I don't know, like it's tough to, like, for someone to come in and run our social media, they're going to want more than $100 a week.
Yeah.
But if we see that they're posting 3-4 times a day, it's like I can't pay you $5 to post the same video that I could have posted. Like we need, so.
Well, I mean, also, Rick, it's only a 6th event, and you're adding, new things as you go. You got Kyle.
I was going to say, that'd probably be...
He got Mr. Quinn and a ton of media people coming down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you chip away every show, and I'm sure, you're going to be adding more things like that, and you will have somebody down the line probably handling most of that for you, making all your highlights, doing all that cool stuff for you. But, man, it comes in time. I mean, you're on Fight Pass. They do a lot of stuff, too, to kind of boost the promotion. So, man, let's get to a couple of fights. We got Dan Cormier is going to be calling in at about quarter of.
Nice.
So let's get to a couple of fights you're really excited. Do you have 3 title fights, 3 pro title fights this card?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's John Duma, it's also Ali Zebian,
Yep.
And what is the other one?
Don?
Yeah. You want me to run through it?
Yeah, Don Shanis. There you go. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. So yeah, there's 3 really good fights. So we can start with Duma, right? So everybody knows Duma. I think he's done your podcast, and
Yeah.
He's my teammate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's Tommy's
you know.
teammate. Yeah.
yeah, current champion. So everybody knows
Yep.
Duma. He's fighting a guy that has really, really good stand-up. So it's going to be one of those fights where he's looking to take Duma out. Like,
It's hard.
he thinks, like, in his mind, right? And I think like, if you were to look at, I mean, he's faster than Duma. He probably hits harder than Duma, right? But that doesn't always translate to a win, right? But you've got a guy who fought in karate combat, had a huge knockout there, big power puncher, big powerful striker, great athlete. But I think he's, probably more of a sprinter, whereas Duma is going to look to weather the storm and then drown him, So kind of no question about what I think that you could say that about a lot of Duma fights, right? Like, a guy's going to, the other guy's going to come out and try to take him out early. Duma's going to try to weather the storm, get him into deeper waters, push the pace, and, find a way to break him late. So, that fight's going to be a lot of fun.
John?
And that fight, Duma comes out on top in, pretty dominant fashion. That's 2 wins in a row, I believe, for your organization, getting the belt and defending it. This could be his ticket on Fight Pass to the next level. And when he was on the podcast, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, he was talking about that 2-fight winning streak, and I'm right back in the hunt. You know what I mean?
That's it, right there.
So I mean, you've had one guy already. You've lofted a guy into the UFC, recently. So Duma could be that next guy after, if he's victorious on the 9th.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Not a lot of people have finished Duma.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think he's only been stopped once, I believe. So yeah, it's that'll be a fun one. And yeah, he's definitely a guy that you don't see many guys defending titles for long on Fight Pass. Like they usually end up getting a shot at the next level. So yeah, I don't think if he goes out and wins, yeah, he could be right there. And Jan Oliveira and Ali Zebian, I'd say that one is probably kind of similar. I would say, Jan is, Jan's a big power puncher too. I mean, he's, like, I don't know if you saw his last fight, but he landed some elbows from the guard. Like he was he threw a flying knee and got taken down. threw like 3 elbows from the bottom, and the kid was just split open and bleeding everywhere. And like, the kid, like you could see the look on the kid's face. He was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, the kid tapped and quit in like 30 seconds and was like, just like covered in fucking blood.
Jiu-jitsu.
It was, so I don't know. It's like everything Jan does damage. I've talked to guys who have sparred with him, and they're like, he hits harder than it looks, and it looks like he hits pretty hard. And and he's fighting Zebian, who he's a guy that'll try to put a pace on you. Like he's definitely going to be faster than Jan, but it's so it's going to be the speed of Zebian versus the power of Oliveira, and I don't think it goes 5. I think I could say that about both title fights. I think they, all of the guys in those fights tend to put on a pretty good pace. So I think we'll see a finish in both of those, regardless of who wins.
Yeah, and interesting about Zebian, he fought a lot of most of his career at 155. I think he even dropped down to 145, and he said he would never do that. Fought a couple of fights at 155. Maybe he had one win, loss, or a couple of losses in a row. Jumps up to 170. I think he's got on a 2-fight winning streak on. Fought Sanders.
Yeah, I think he actually just lost one right before this.
Yeah,
he won his most recent fight.
Yeah,
but right before that, he lost to Ryan Sanders at 170.
And was that his first fight at 170? I think was against Sanders, right? When he went up in weight.
I'm not sure if he did it prior to, but it's his first fight at 170 in the last 2 years.
Okay.
And yeah, Jan is a guy too that, he's fought as low as 135 years ago, and he's taken some time out of the cage, and he's obviously put on some weight, but he's another guy that Jan plans to go to 55. Like he's looking to get back down to 55. That'll be interesting because he's pretty tall. He's about 6 feet. So, him at 55, it'll be a tough cut for him. But, I've seen some other guys that are his size making 55. So we'll see there. This will be an interesting one. Like we'll see how Zebian deals with the reach advantage, because Jan's a pretty long striker. He's a real smart fighter. He's a patient fighter. He does explode a lot, but he's someone he's not really like he puts a pace on guys, but he's not reckless about it. So, it'll be interesting to see how Zebian deals with the reach advantage there. But Zebian's got a huge experience advantage. So it's not like, I'm sure he's fought tall guys before,
Jacob Bone, tall, lanky guy. He had a great fight against Jacob, and, made a mistake and got caught, and story ends right there. But it's a great fight. Ali Zebian, he brings it, like you said. He grinds. You'd love to see him against a guy like you said that has a lot of power. So I would imagine Ali might be trying to get in close and get this to the ground and win it that way, because we know what he does on the ground. He just grinds you out there.
Yeah, and Jan's one of those guys too that like he has that what the fuck was that power.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of those, like he has that kind of power where like he misses you and hits you clean on your shoulder blade, on your your collarbone, and you're like, all right, that would have sucked. Like he's got that kind of power where like he hits you on your arm and you're like, like, all right, I got to make sure I don't take one of those.
Could dislocate the arm.
He's got that kind of crazy power. So it's, we'll see. I think that Ali's probably, I think he's probably going to shoot some takedowns at some point in the fight. I don't know that they actually did a podcast together. They were both guests at the same time, and Ali was saying things like, you're trying to cut the line, you're trying to take my spot. I've been grinding away for years. Like, I'm not going to let you take my spot. So it seems like he's, I don't want to say taking it personal necessarily, but he's looking at it like, I think that's probably the first time that he's had a guy with, he's had a prospect looking to use him like a stepping stone, so he's offended by the whole process, right? he's like, I'm the fucking prospect.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still the guy on the rise. Like, you're not going to take my spot in line. And so he's, I don't think he's going to go out there and, I mean, I don't think he's going to try to make it boring at all. I think he's going to go out there and try to take you on out. So
I believe so as well. And it's a 5-round fight. So, I mean, you got to pace yourself. So it's interesting as far as that fight. Let's leave off maybe on, let's definitely talk about this fight. You got Don Shanis and you have Nate Garib. And this is a fight that was, there was a call out back in the past before Don, I think, got to the UFC from Nate. He wanted to fight the best in the area. And at that time, Don was. I think he was holding a couple of belts at the time. Don ended up going to the UFC, and we know Nate. Nate's been on a big winning streak. He's, I do believe he won the 155-pound belt for you guys. Now he's fighting Don at 145, and this is a fight that New England definitely wants to see. How excited are you to get this fight as, the big one, my man? Because, you had a guy that was at the UFC, and you have Nate Garib that is on the cusp, just like John Duma, to get to the UFC. So talk about this fight being that big one for you.
Yeah, I mean, we were pumped to get it, right? Like, it was, I think the fight took about 10 minutes to put together. They've both wanted to fight each other. I've heard other people say that, like people who know Don have said, yeah, and he's wanted to fight Garib a while. I've heard it from Garib himself that he's wanted to fight Don a while. And I wasn't sure that Nate was going to be fighting locally again. I wasn't sure that we were going to put him on another card because I know he was right there. I think, he was actually offered a short notice UFC fight a while ago that he couldn't take based on how short it was and where he was in his training. So it looked like he wasn't going to need to take a tough fight locally. And then, I just happened to be talking to his manager one day and they were like, hey, we think we might need one. I think we might want to look to take another fight locally. And I know that Shanis was available and he was looking to fight too. And, I reached out to both guys and I was like, hey, you guys have kind of wanted this. Like, is the timing right for you? And both guys, almost immediately came back with, fuck yeah, let's go. Let's do it. And they both were a little surprised the other guy accepted so fast, so it was really cool. It was really cool to get this one. I think years ago, I think the fight probably didn't happen based on, they were both in different promotions and saying, hey, come fight over here. Whereas now I don't think either one of them is kind of particularly tied in with, they're not tied into any promotion that's not us anyway. Right. So they've, it was an easy fight to get. It was an easy fight to set up. They both wanted it and said yes before we even finished talking about the money. So it's going to be a fun fight too. They're both, I mean, they've pretty universally been thought of as the top guys in the area for a long time. They both are exciting. They both put a pace on guys. This one I could see going the distance, just based on how they fight. Wouldn't shock me if there's a finish in there either, but it also wouldn't shock me if it's back and forth for 5 rounds. I think I said this on in another interview. I just hope I hope it gets to that there's enough back and forth in the beginning where they start talking shit to each other.
always the best.
Yeah, well, because they both do it in fights, depending on how the fight's going, they'll both start talking a little bit. They'll start pointing at each other. They'll, when they land a big shot, they'll be, so that's the type of thing that we could end up in a really cool spot. That could end up being a really, really good fight.
One thing I've seen through Don and his whole career, I don't think he's really been finished on his feet. I mean, he's been finished other than UFC maybe, but I think when he's been finished, it's been a submission. So he's always in the fight. I mean, he's there to throw down. And Garib,
terrible guy.
Garib is
not getting knocked out.
Yeah, Garib is a monster. He's got those elbows, great kicks, and he's awesome on the ground as far as just nulling someone's jiu-jitsu and wrestling game out. You know what I mean? Getting it back to the feet, and then tire him out. And he has his own jiu-jitsu game as well. So it's a fight that's unpredictable. And man, this is the top of the top of New England right here. Don could get back to the UFC, or on a some kind of upswing to get back in Dana's eyesight. But I'm sure Nate is already in the eyes of Sean and all those people involved in the UFC. So you got a win-win situation here with this main event.
I mean, just about all the fights I look at like win-win. I mean, and that's one thing that I don't want to get on my soapbox or anything, but that's one thing that I think we do a little different than some of the other shows is like, we do have some guys that we work with and we want to make sure we get on our cards, but like I've got a lot of the local A-side ticket seller who, if there was a betting line on this fight, they'd be betting underdogs. Like there's a lot of guys on the show that, so when you say that, it's a win-win either way, like I think almost all the fights are win-win either way for us. Like, because I don't have if the local guy loses, that doesn't ruin my night. Like we're trying to put on good fights. That's one thing I think we've done pretty well is not get locked into any small group of people that, we need them to keep winning or else it's going to hurt us. So yeah, I think that's one thing that we've kind of prioritized is just making sure that we book the best fights we can with the best guys we can, and cards fall where the cards fall. So it's.
And if these guys step up to anything, talking UFC, then they're going to be using all your guys' footage on their pre-fight games. So that's a plus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, dude, sure, you guys are still. I wouldn't say virgins, but you're still young in this MMA game, and you're doing great things. I have Dan Cormier coming on right now, so we're gonna have to say goodbye to you, Rick Caldwell. But it's been a great chat, man. We'll be at the show. I will be, at least. I don't know if Tommy will be.
See what's up.
But I
want to go.
But I'll see you on the 9th, and I'm looking forward to the press conference or the virtual press conference on Monday, 8:00. We'll throw that poster up again before we end the show. But we'll definitely we'll talk again, Rick. We'll talk at the show, and we look forward to the next week and a half of what you're throwing out there as far as the fight is and the information leading up to the event on the 9th.
Sounds good, guys. See you later.
All right, man. Have a good night, and thanks for coming on, buddy.
See you, Rick.
Later. All right, awesome. Awesome.
Very cool. It's going to be a sick card.
All right, let me get Dan over here.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's probably
getting ready.
I don't know. Do I have him on here? There he is already. I think, I don't know if that's... Hey, bro. So, great chat with Rick Cole.
Cool.
They got a ton of fucking great fights on this card. Pro fights, amateur fights.
My buddy Johnny Faria just got added last week or a week or two ago to the grappling cards. So,
great.
Yeah, I was just talking with him yesterday, telling him we're doing this and pumped for him because I think it's his first one. He's a firefighter. He's just a grinder, and he's been working real hard in the gym. So
excellent. We got Mr. Davis is going to be having a super fight.
I heard that.
What?
I heard something about that. I don't know. I don't want to say, but I heard that wasn't happening.
Let's not talk about it then.
Yeah, I don't know.
So we're trying to get Dan Cormier on the phone here. It's been a while since he's called in. I think the last time he was actually in studio with us. But until we get in touch with him, did you tell him? Did he? Reach out
I said 5 minutes. So.
All right.
You trying to get?
So he'll get to us in a couple of minutes. We're only going to have him on a couple of minutes just to say hi, see how he's feeling about this fight coming up.
Yeah.
Interesting fight that he has because the dude that he is fighting actually fought one of getting ready to do interview quickly.
Yeah.
Is that us? What does that mean? Someone else?
I don't know.
Is Dan doing an interview with someone else? See what he's doing. If he's doing an interview, we'll just reschedule him. Or
he might want to do ours quickly. Is that what that means?
Maybe maybe he thought he was talking to someone else.
Shoot him the message.
I did.
Like the invite.
There is no invite. I just say, hey, I call him right from here.
Yeah, do it.
What do you mean?
I don't know that. How do you? Don't
I
you?
said, hey, bro, and he goes,
don't you have to
getting
send
ready
him
to do an interview.
video
I mean,
thing?
what's that mean?
Don't you have to send them a video or something?
No, I just call him from here. Right here, video.
Hit it.
I don't want to call him. I might be doing a video. You're doing an interview?
With us?
Yeah, well, like
maybe
doing.
maybe Rick's calling him.
Don't interview with him in a. You doing an interview with someone else? It is crunch time, you know.
Oh yeah, he's got a lot of
Rick's,
shit.
you know, it's probably that fucking. What was the kid's name? Kyle. It's probably fucking Kyle.
It's probably Dylan.
It was Kyle.
I know. Oh yeah, Kyle.
No, Dylan's on right now.
No, is he?
What's he saying? In 2 minutes. What does that mean? He's ready in 2 minutes?
Probably ready in
Or
2
he's
minutes.
doing an interview in 2 minutes.
Probably ready with us in 2 minutes.
All
Unless
right. What's that mean? Oh, I don't know what's going on. All right, well, that's going on. I'm going to play, I'm just going to throw the Combat FC's
Sure.
Instagram video up there just so you can see some stuff right here. I think it actually has, if you go on Combat FC's Instagram, they still have plenty of tickets for sale, and they do have the link for the tickets. And at the end of this video, it will show how you get to. Oh, he's waiting on me.
yeah, do it up.
He's
Hit
waiting
it.
on me.
I told you to hit it.
All
I told you to hit it.
All right. Well, you know, we're new at this game. All right. Let me call me. He's waiting on
So
me.
maybe we have 2 minutes with him. It's fine with me.
I'll take 2 minutes with him.
Yeah.
There he is. What's up, King Burger?
Yo, what up, Danny?
Yo, what up? What's going on?
How are you, buddy?
Just chilling. You know how it is.
Hey, when you sent that message, I thought you had another interview. I'm like, well, he's a busy
Oh
guy.
no, I didn't even realize it was like your photo because like the little like head that popped up. I was like, who the hell is this?
Oh,
real quick?
that's right. It's my burner account.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. 'Cause,
That's
like,
why.
I'm not up to date on social media. What's going on? You know, I'm just in my own world over here.
Hey,
Your fight world.
Hey, Dan. That's what was I gonna say? That's me with the Khabib hat on.
Well, yeah. Once I realized and I zoomed in on the photo, my eyes just suck seeing something like that. You know, I was like, oh, it's Steve. Never mind. My bad.
Funny.
So what's going on, man? Before we get to this fight, I want to keep you too long. But before we get to this fight, Tommy was saying tonight that it was the last night of Triforce's original home.
Yeah, geez, I've been there forever, like at least like 12, 13 of those 15 years.
It's a long time.
So talk about it, buddy. You're expanding into like you know, as my friend here says, he goes, it is Triforce MMA Disneyland that is opening up. For
Pretty much, we could get a mean ass flag football game going on in there.
Yo, let's do it.
Like legit, I think we could host like charity events and like do fundraisers that way too. You know, it's crazy from what it sounds like. You know, I still haven't been in it yet because I just haven't. I'm gonna wait like everybody else
Yeah.
is doing right now.
Yeah, you guys, I guess, you know, some of you guys, the veterans there have been taking over a lot of the coaching duties while Pete and the rest of the crew there have been getting the new place together, man. How excited! I think Tommy said it's opening on Monday, the new
Yep.
place, right?
Yep.
Yeah, on Monday that's the official opening, but then we're gonna have like a official like opening party like later on in February, from what I know.
Yeah.
Awesome,
Party.
awesome,
We like
awesome.
to party. We're trying to get Steve down there today, but he had some fake excuse. He didn't want to come roll.
Oh man, I remember when Steve used to come and take my wrestling class and stuff like that back in the day.
Hey, Dan. You know, I do have a fight scheduled or supposedly scheduled in July, a kickboxing match. So I will be coming to Triforce to get some help getting ready for that fight.
You got a kickboxing fight?
Yeah, for I'll tell you offline, but the chatter is going on right now. It's an exhibition.
Not official yet.
It's not official yet, but I will be using Triforce's help getting me ready for this big exhibition coming up.
All right, let's get it.
Right. Let's do it.
Let's get it.
All right, Dan. Let's talk about your fight coming up, my man. It's almost been a year. I think almost 11 months until you hit that.
it's pretty much been a year to the date because the last time I fought was for Combat FC last February.
All right, my
Okay.
man, let's talk about it. Let's actually talk about Combat FC in February when you fought for them. You know, I think we talked before that card. You know, how was the event? How was the feeling? You came away with a big win there. And after boxing a little bit, man, how'd you feel about the win and Combat FC overall?
Nah, like Combat FC, standout organization, awesome to work for, very down to earth. They're upfront, you know, they don't hide anything. And the whole process, I don't know, it's like I've been around combat for so long. You know, taking a break from MMA was cool to focus on boxing because then I could just develop that game to add into my MMA on different aspects of hands, footwork, and different ranges and stuff like that. But ultimately, when I went back to MMA, it was just like riding a bike at that point, you know, and just go out there and do what I do. Hey,
What's up, dog?
How's
Yeah.
I heard an animal bark as far as a dog. You still bow hunting? You still bringing some venison home to the family?
I didn't get anything this season.
Sorry.
It was a little bit of a dud. I have about like 6 deer roaming around that I don't want on the property. So hopefully they get bigger and better for next season. So
Excellent, my man. Well, bro, entering the cage against against a dude that's fought in New England a couple of times. I actually think he fought against your opponent that you came away with a win at Combat FC 3. As far as Tapology, I do believe what I'm seeing. About this opponent, what do you know about him and how excited are you to get and scrap against the kid?
well, pretty much like I've watched like quick video, but I don't base everything off of watching video because if you like perseverate on something like that for so long that you're waiting for something like that to happen, but then it can never happen. So I just kind of stay in the present mind to focusing what I need to do. And then obviously I have coaches that watch video and they'll kind of break down the game plan. We won't talk about it. We'll just drill what we're going to do at that point. So in that way, I'll be ready in all aspects. And then if something that we've seen from video pops up, all right, cool. We've already been through that position. We understand what's going on. And we can just take analysis from there and then keep on moving. You know, it's like I said, if you just focus so much on what they've done in the past, they could be totally changing their whole entire game, and you don't want to get caught by that.
Well, as far as you said, it's like riding a bike, but as we know, boxing's a little different. As far as getting ready for it and stuff like that. As far as training camps, of course they're different. But how's the body feeling in the training camp as far as MMA compared to like a boxing training camp?
I mean, luckily, most of the time, like when I did box for those periods of time, I just focused on boxing. But then once I was done with boxing, I went straight back into like my grappling and jiu-jitsu and everything like that. And it's not like I neglected it the whole time. I would still go and do my grappling on like Saturday, Sunday, and like I'd still stay current with it. I just wouldn't be as intense, but I was always drilling, flow rolling, and just keeping my timing and everything down.
The last card they had is, I believe that's when John Doomer won his belt against Jake Pillar. Were you in John's corner at that event or at the event when he won that?
No, I wasn't at the event for that one. I think I watched it on UFC Fight Pass.
Well, now you're on event with John, who will be defending that title. How happy are you to get on a card with John? You guys are training partners, getting ready, gotten each other ready for fights so much in the past, but now you guys getting each other ready for, the same fight night. Is that a little more exciting, or is it just business as usual? You just, it doesn't matter. It's a fight, and it doesn't matter if he's training for one or I'm training for one, we're just going in there, do our job.
Yeah, pretty much. It's there is an excitement to it because you get to be there at the same time, And I mean, we've done it before. We fought on the Bellator card way back when with each other.
Nice.
As well. So it's not like it's our first rodeo either, but it's pretty business casual as well. So we focus on us because then if we don't focus on what we have to do to win for that night, or if like we're not training properly, then we're both not going to be able to fight our best. So therefore, either way, we're always looking to push each other, no matter what kind of, if we're on the same card or not. So.
You want to ask him anything there, buddy?
What have you been doing to prepare? Like road work? I know it's a winter out right now, so what kind of conditioning have you been up to?
I mean, if you follow my social media, my normal schedule, like Monday through Wednesday, I'm up at about 3:30 in the morning going to boxing before, you know.
It's early.
Still at 4:01, keeping my hands right, you know, and always doing work over there. And then once I get out of my regular job during the day, then I head to Triforce at night. And so pretty much it's just I get all my reps in, all my drilling, and get my live situation in rounds. And that's pretty much like what my conditioning is, because it's like I've been in this game for so long where I'm just used to it. So it's not like I get overly anxious anymore. And I'm just relaxed going in there knowing that it's a fight and I know what I have to do and I know how I have to fight in order to come out with a dub.
Well, my man, I do believe you're 10-10 as a professional MMA fighter. Dan's like looking around. Am I? I got that many fights?
He doesn't care.
Well, here's looking at Tapology, this is your 21st MMA fight, man. Going into it the 22nd time. I mean, you fought pro boxing also, but after 22 fights, man. Is the fight like what's the feeling compared to like maybe the first couple of years of fighting?
Well, I mean, like, I think it's more the fact I'm more relaxed now, because beforehand it would be like just nervous all the time, you know, unsure of like the skill sets. But now that like I've been in it for so long, and like I'm just confident in my skill sets no matter where it goes, whether I'm on the ground, whether we're standing, whether it's like boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, like it is what it is. And I feel like as long as you're relaxed and just keep a clear mind while you're in there, you know, you'll be able to perform at that point. Because then if you get stuck in a moment where you say, oh shit, I got caught by something, then you're already behind at that point because you're not present in the moment anymore. You're too busy worrying about what happened 2 seconds ago versus what you need to do right now.
There's the man. There's the man right there. Not only preaching the word to himself, but that goes, where'd he go? Oh, that goes along with the kids that you're bringing up.
Oh, yeah.
Dan, last couple of questions here. Tommy mentioned that there's a newbie from the gym that's going to be doing a grappling fight,
Yep,
right?
Johnny.
Other than John Doomer, are there any other MMA fighters that are going to be there from Triforce representing? Because I know there's a lot of amateurs on the card, but any cross trainers or any other people fighting MMA that night?
I mean, we have Leon doing his grappling match, and it's just Duma and myself on the card from Triforce. But otherwise, cross training wise, I couldn't even tell you if there was somebody on the card cross training, because I just, like I said, I don't keep up with like social media that much anymore in the sense of like the fight game. I barely even watch UFC fights in general now because I'm just too busy doing so many other different things. And yeah, like it is what it is at this point.
Totally understandable, my man.
Focused.
Yeah, and as you said, you know, Leon's going to be there, and he's going to be busting your chops in the back there. So he's always someone great to have in your corner and in the back of room.
No, Leon's a character all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, last thing, what's left to do, man? We are Wednesday night. The fights are next Friday. Weigh-ins are actually a week from tomorrow. What's left to do, up until weigh-ins or fight night, my friend?
I'm just hanging out. I don't really have much of a weight cut because I'm a smaller flyweight in general. And yeah, like I'm still eating whatever the hell I freaking want, you know. It don't matter to me, you know.
What are you eating?
I mean, I've been just eating my good stuff like my proteins, my chicken, steaks, like whatever. Then I'll have some occasional ice cream or Swedish fish every now and then, maybe a burger on the side as well too.
Nice.
You know? It all depends, you know, because it's like I do a lot of intermittent fasting as well too. So normally I don't legitimately have a real meal until I get home at nighttime. So, and throughout the day, it's just staying hydrated for me.
Yep.
And caffeine. So stay awake at work.
It's a man's man right there.
It's real shit.
Hydration and caffeine. That's all we need to
I do
survive.
a lot of that.
All right, Dan. Last question. Boxing or MMA heading into 2024 after this February 9th? Boxing or MMA? I know you love them both. You're at 401 with Mr. Santos just about every morning at 4 in the morning. What's going on? I know he's probably talking you into a fucking boxing match. So what's going on?
He wants me to get one more boxing fight in at least. You know, because I'm getting up there in age.
Mm-hmm.
So my life has been taking a much different course now. And I'm embracing it to the fullest, you know, because I have a lot of blessings ahead of me and stuff like that. And I don't want to miss out on those moments. I want to be present for them, you know, and not always be stuck in the gym 24/7, you know, or just focusing on trying to fight when I'm not going to appreciate what's going on right in front of my eyes. So.
Perfect, my man. Well, we can't wait to see you on the 9th back in there fighting MMA with a couple of brothers that are going to be in that cage with you. It's going to be a big Triforce night. And, man, it's going to be a lot of fans hooting and hollering for you guys in that cage. Dan, thank you so much, man. I know Tommy was training with you today, and he just threw it by you if you could call in real quick. I always appreciate your time, Dan, and I'll see you next Friday night at Combat FC 6.
You know what's crazy though, Steve? The fact that I was one of your first interviews way back when.
Yes, back. You were when I was in the bedroom with the echoes, and I didn't even. That was awesome, my man. And here we are, fucking 7-8 years later.
Exactly.
Cool.
Still going at it.
Awesome, my man. Well, you might be cornering me at an exhibition fight in another few months, brother.
Hell yeah.
Like I said, hit me up. We'll get those sessions in, man. Let's get it.
We'll talk. I'll talk to you next Friday night about it, right, my man?
All right, brother.
You have a good night, bro. I'll see you in a week.
Later, Danny.
Later. That was awesome, man.
Yeah, that was good.
That's fucking cool.
Kid's the man.
He is the man. Awesome. Thank you for getting him to come on
Easy
tonight.
enough. It took me about 5 seconds to do it.
My Triforce connection.
When I was
right
walking
here.
by him, I was sweating bullets. I just dropped right down. I said, "Hey, you want to do the thing?" And he didn't know what the fuck I was talking about because I just stuttered it out. I'm like, "Oh, you want to do this show?" So he's like, "What?" He says, "Oh, I'm going to Steve. I'm going to this room."
Different echoes around.
Yeah, exactly.
Great show.
Yeah, very good.
I would have loved to have Rick Caldwell on a little longer, but
Sure.
we teased the people out there a little bit, and they're going to be putting so much more stuff on social media up until next Friday night, fight night. Tommy, you want to go? Let me know.
I think I want to.
I think I'll be driving by your way. I don't know.
I would. So what time is it? It's on a Friday, right?
It's early, and the traffic sucks.
So I would be going from outside of Worcester. So I would shower at work and then head right in. So we could maybe make that happen. What's 6 or 7 o'clock it starts?
I would say 6.
Yep.
You want to get there 6?
We'll see. We'll talk about it.
We'll talk. We don't have to get there at 6, but you know what I mean. It's
Yeah. We'll see what's up.
We'll see what's happening. We all can always do a fight companion.
On Fight Pass, we could.
We could talk. Yeah, it's Fight Pass. You know what I mean. I would love to see the other fights too, though. There's a lot.
I do want to see them.
We don't even know if Dan Cormier is going to be on Fight Pass. There's so
Right,
many
right.
pro big fights. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
probably 6 or 7 fights.
I would
on
love to be
Fight
in
Pass,
house.
and they got 18 fights.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I
right.
mean?
They'll probably start that shit late, and they'll be already be
So
a
we'll
bunch.
see what happens.
We've missed fights before because of that.
Yeah. So, people, I tried to go. Let me. While we're here,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go to Instagram. I tried to go live on Instagram. I don't know if it ever happened. It is connected, and it did show on my restream that that it was working.
Yeah, I didn't
But,
see it. Let me look on my thing since we're
No,
here,
I
like you
didn't
said.
see it. It would have. I don't know.
Probably would have gotten
We'll
something.
get it worked out next week. But I really wanted to go live on Instagram also, and I do have that capability.
Yeah,
but,
I don't think we did.
Yeah, I didn't test it out. So it's everything was linked up, but I just I didn't.
We'll figure it out.
I didn't know what to do. Watch it show up right here. I'm gonna look at it, Tommy. What happens right now? See how it's right there? It should go to create live video.
Mm-hmm.
What's this post shit?
Yeah, I don't know.
Nah, I don't wanna
Create
do
new
that.
post.
But it should have gave me out something there saying, "Hey, we're live.
Yep.
Press this button."
And that would have.
But it didn't happen. But I promise next week I will have figured it out. And with that said, next week we will have Richie Santiago and maybe Brendan Boats
Nice.
in the room talking Cage Titan 63. We will be recapping next week.
Cool.
We will be having Jake Hicksenbaugh and John Piersma calling in that night as well.
Nice.
And, we'll be talking about matchups maybe they're interested in. Now they had some time to think about things. And we'll see what happens with that. But I'm excited. It's going to be a big show. We're going to have some people in the studio to sign the wall behind us.
It'll be a big week.
Yes. So I'm very excited. And I'm hoping to get that Instagram thing going because it does work. It's just I don't know how to do it yet. So with that said, Tommy, you want to leave off with anything?
I saw Dave Portnoy go to your pizza place. You see him trashing on it?
He didn't trash on the regular. He trashed on
The fucking sticks or whatever those things are.
Fucking sauce on bread.
Yeah, those are worst. Anyway,
Yes,
he's correct about that.
My daughter hates it. She's like, what do you got? My daughter lives in Mass.
Yeah,
she's
me
born
too.
and raised
That pizza with no cheese shit, and it's nothing. The pizza toast they call it or something. You like that?
I can eat it.
They sell that shit at like gas stations.
They do, but it came from us.
Nah, I agree with Dave on that one. That shit's trash. I like.
Here's what it.
It's grandma style.
It's a memory thing for us
Right.
because we used to dip the bread
Yeah.
in the sauce and the gravy.
It's almost
all
like
the
Detroit
time,
style
and
with the
that's kinda-
sauce.
They do they have like grated cheese they put on too. It's not that.
Peppers and shit. Like grated peppers, like pepper flakes.
That would
Yeah,
probably make it.
yeah, I like that. I
little more
draw my shit in that.
Was it warm, the one he had? Or
He
was
said it
cold?
wasn't that warm.
If it was warmer, it would have been a little better. But it's just fucking sauce on bread.
So I go to this place. It's in Framingham. It's been around for ever. Framingham Bakery Pizza,
Okay.
grandma style pizza, cold. Like I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like
So what's
it's a
different
sheet
about
pizza.
their pizza than that?
there's no cheese on that Rhode Island
Oh,
one.
there's cheese on the other one.
Yeah, but it's like it's
Not
a
everyone
Sicilian
likes-
style.
not
It's a sheet
everyone-
pizza.
Not everyone likes cheese.
Then they should get those sticks or whatever.
What did he say? If you eat these, you'll.
I can tell. I can't
You'll
remember
go hungry
exactly.
or something. I
Yeah,
have
I
it,
can tell.
something.
If Rhode Island eats all this shit, I can tell or something. I can't remember.
Like, they'll all go hungry or something like that. All go fucking something.
That's funny.
I can't believe.
Because you
it.
were talking about that. You were saying you wanted to see it and see what he said about that.
And
So
Jay Palmieri. Was it at Jay Palmieri's?
I think so.
It was the bakery right next to it, probably.
Yeah.
And then Jay Palmieri's had a pizza, but Jay Palmieri's has like a thick.
He said he got
square pizza.
he said he got the regular pizza too. So I don't know either.
All right. With that said, like I said, next week we will be doing a Cage Titan 63 recap with Richie Santiago, maybe Brendan Boats, Mr. Tommy Shea Hood, and I have to figure out how to make a screen to have the calling guests in here. I'll do it. We always do it. I think I did pretty good with flashing back in the screen with.
And we did it before with 3 people, and I think we put someone up in the corner.
Yeah, I'll figure it out,
Yep.
and then we flash them into their own screen
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It's a Rhode Island thing. That's exactly your wife.
It's how she said
saying it is a Rhode Island
Of course she
thing.
said that. Yeah, no kidding. I am from Rhode Island. I like Rhode Island, but not the.
Have you eaten it?
Yeah, she brings it home. She's brought it home before. You get it at like Dell's and stuff.
And what is her? Why'd she buy it? Just so you can.
Because
pick on it?
she
Or
likes she
it?
thinks she likes
She's
it,
got taste.
and she would think
Fuck Dave Portnoy or whatever his fucking name is. Fuck you, Tommy.
I need a slice of pizza. Let's do this. Boston North End.
All right, we out of here. With that said, thank you so much, Rick Caldwell for Combat FC, and Dan Cormier for Triforce fighting at Combat FC 6 next Friday night. Thank you, Tommy. We'll be back next week with an all-star cast and a fun night. And that's it. We out.
Adios.